today's video, I will introduce you to Jack, Janet, and Chrissy. They each own 1/3 of and are employed by an LLC that operates a successful business. In this story, Jack and Janet tire of Chrissy and undertake to freeze her out of the business. Janet removes a computer that contains data necessary for the day-to-day operations of the business from the office. Chrissy promptly fires Janet and notifies the police that a former employee stole a company laptop. Janet admits to taking the computer and the police arrest her. Janet spends the weekend in jail. On Monday, a prosecutor determines that the laptop belongs to the company and that Janet owns 1/3 of that company and concludes that the dispute is civil rather than criminal and drops the charges. Janet hires a lawyer and sues Chrissy for malicious prosecution, false arrest, and false imprisonment. Several years ago, I represented the Chrissy in this story. The case went all the way to a jury trial. Chrissy won, but only after spending 2 years in litigation and tens of thousands of dollars defending herself. That experience informs my skepticism of involving law enforcement in a business dispute. In a vast majority of situations, you would do well not to do so. Before getting law enforcement involved in a business dispute, you should consider the following. Law enforcement generally stays out of civil matters. If the police get a sense that there's an existing business relationship between accuser and accused and that the dispute does not involve violence, they are unlikely to get involved. Calling the police might get you sued. If the charges are dropped or the accused is acquitted, he may have a claim against you. Even if you are successful in defending that claim, you will pay in time, money, and aggravation. Just because you're the one that calls the police doesn't mean that you won't be the one leaving in handcuffs. The police will conduct their own investigation. Don't be surprised if your business partner tells the authorities some nasty things about you, whether they're true or not. Depending on who the police believe, you might be the one who ends up arrested. You have no control over the criminal process. You will have little say in the scope of a criminal investigation and no idea about the status of that investigation for months or even longer. Information or property that you need to run your business could be impounded as evidence. In criminal prosecutions, police often impound items in an evidence locker for months or even years. Your need for that item to run the business will take a back seat to law enforcement's interests in preserving the chain of custody. Lastly, if you threaten criminal prosecution in an attempt to strengthen your negotiating position, you could be prosecuted for extortion. You don't want that. Don't do it. There are many good reasons not to involve law enforcement in a business dispute. This is not to say you should never do so. If your business partner inflicts or threatens violence, dial 911. If your partner is defrauding customers, lenders, or the government, notify the authorities. But if you or your business are the primary victim of your partner's conduct, you may be best served talking to a lawyer about your civil remedies before calling the police. Life's too short for bad business relationships. For more information, see my blog at bfvlaw.com. I've also written a book on business divorce called Life's Too Short for a Bad Business Partner. As always, please let me know if I can help.